The Knicks are stacked. We have one of the best rosters that we've ever put together, maybe in 25 plus years. We have championship aspirations, and we finally have the roster to get it done. But anytime you have a roster like this, a lot of questions come up. Questions about roles, questions about minutes. Well, thanks to Ian Begley of SNY, he recently gave us a report on the Knicks and what they're going to have to do next season in order to be that team that can get us to the championship. And in order for us to do that, according to Jalen Brunson, we're going to have to sacrifice. We're going to break down these latest reports and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. NBA Insider provides an update on the Knicks and the roles and minutes for next season. For me, that has been the main question since we've added Mikal Bridges to this roster. Because when you look at it, Jalen, Julius, Mikal, OG, and Mitchell Robinson, that's likely your starting five as of right now. If you're thinking about it in terms of minutes, how are the minutes going to work? How are the roles going to work? I think we know that Jalen Brunson is likely going to be the number one option on this Knicks team, basically each and every night. The second option, I would think that's Julius Randle, but some nights, could it change to Mikal Bridges, to OG Anunoby, to somebody else? I think it could. The difference here is it's going to have to be about sacrifice. Some nights it's not going to be your night. Some nights it's going to be your night. It's going to be up to the team you're playing with to recognize what's going on and to make the necessary sacrifices for the team to win. And according to our point guard in Jalen Brunson, when he was addressing the media during the announcement of him becoming team captain, he basically stated that we all recognize in order for this Knicks team to be the best possible team it's going to be, everybody is going to need to sacrifice. Shout out to Ian Begley for giving us the following. According to Begley, Brunson, for one, believes that this group can handle the task of making that sacrifice. According to Brunson, absolutely. I think it starts with me. And I think Julius has the character and the mindset to do it. I think most importantly, it's just us going out there and being a team and knowing that on any given night, there's going to be someone who's obviously the hot hand. How can we be the best teammates possible to put ourselves in the best position to win? I'm not saying that we need to chop everything off. Like, all right, you can't do this and you can't do that. No, let's just do whatever it takes to win as a team. And then we go on and we move on after that. We have the character and we have the guys who are willing to do that. What he means is we have the guys willing to make the sacrifice in order for the Knicks to always win games and for them to get one step closer to winning a championship. Ian Begley continues here and he reports the following. The Knicks will also need significant sacrifices from players up and down the roster. This is a team that played the final 4 months of a season without Julius Randle. They will have to incorporate both Randle and Bridges into a rotation that relied heavily on Donte DiVincenzo and Josh Hart last season. Will Hart and DiVincenzo play the same roles this season? That seems unlikely with Randle and Bridges on the roster. So this team will rely heavily on players sacrificing minutes and shots for the greater good. Most NBA teams and players talk about putting the team ahead of themselves. These Knicks will have to live by that ethos day in and day out to reach their potential. It's a difficult balance to strike in any industry, particularly in the high-stakes world of the NBA. But as Brunson just stated, this Knicks roster, all of them are willing to make the sacrifice if it means winning a championship. It sounds so obvious, right? When you have a stacked roster, of course, you're going to need to make sacrifices so everybody can play, get minutes, and have your best version of the team available. Because that's what you need to do, make sacrifices. But you know what means a lot? Hearing the team captain, your leader in Jalen Brunson, basically state that he recognizes in order for this team to be great, they need to make sacrifices. And Jalen, Julius, and everybody on this roster They're willing to make the necessary sacrifices in order for us to win. That means on some nights, if Donte DiVincenzo has the hot hand and he's scoring 35 points and Randle doesn't have maybe 20 points, maybe he has 19 points or 18 points, and Brunson might have 17 points, not even cracking 20 points, but the Knicks are blowing out teams and we're winning, everybody's going to be smiling. Everybody's going to be happy, and everybody's going to be willing to make that sacrifice for that night because it means we're winning a game and we're one step closer to that championship. I love the fact that Jalen said this. I love the fact that the Knicks, everybody already knows that sacrifices are needed to be made in order for us to be great. It goes from top to bottom, like Ian Begley said. Everybody on this Knicks roster knows they need to make sacrifices. But the two that are likely going to have to make the biggest sacrifice, especially if you're looking at their role last season, is Donte DiVincenzo and Josh Hart. And that's exactly what Ian Begley stated. In order to incorporate Mikal Bridges and Julius Randle back into the lineup, into the rotation properly, you're going to have to sacrifice a lot of minutes and your time and maybe certain roles on the team, certain roles you had last season that you will not have this season. Josh Hart was going coast to coast a lot last year. This season, he may not be able to do that because someone may be ahead of him. So that means he'll have to pass the ball ahead of him and get somebody else an open look or an open shot. He has no problem with doing that. But again, that shifts his role and his mindset just a little bit. So even though Ian Begley is right here when he states that Donte DiVincenzo and Josh Hart are going to be affected by their roles and their minutes, it's not going to mean that they're not going to be impactful or this Knicks team is going to suffer because of it. The reason they're doing that is because we got so good. We got so much better. And the returning players, how good they are and their impact, we have to do it this way. We're talking about Mikal Bridges and Julius Randle. Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby are going to be the best wing duo defensively in the entire NBA. Jalen and Julius might be the best duo on offense in the entire NBA. They were making a case for it last season before Julius went down with that injury. I don't know how many people remember that, but I do. I remember Kendrick Perkins of ESPN basically stating that he thought the Knicks had one of the best duos in Randle and Brunson. And for him, he put it as one of the top duos in the league. Now, a lot of people didn't agree with him, but if you look at what they did in January and potentially what they're going to do headed into this next season, I would agree with Perks. They could be a top duo in this league, and I love to see it. But thanks to Jalen Brunson saying these comments, he has officially shut down one huge, and now we know, incorrect narrative that Julius Randle is somehow jealous. He's upset that maybe he's not captain, or maybe he's going to have to sacrifice his role. It is absolutely clear. Everybody understands a sacrifice is needed in order to win a championship. And everybody on this roster, including Julius Randle, is willing to make the sacrifice so we can win a chip. Let me go back to what Jalen Brunson said in case you guys missed it. In answering the question of if this Knicks roster is willing to make the necessary sacrifices, he states, absolutely. I think it starts with me, and I think Julius has the character and the mindset to do it too. Those are two of your best players on this team, your all-star players. If they have that mindset, if they're going to do it and they've bought into it, then every single person on this roster is going to do the exact same thing. I cannot wait until next season starts. We have one of the best teams we have ever had in maybe 25 plus years. We are going to be one of the best teams in the league next season. We are running through the league. And if we're willing to make the sacrifices needed, which it looks like we are headed to the NBA Finals, and we are going to be this close to finally breaking the drought, having the parade we need, and bringing a championship home to New York City. But what about you guys? What do you think about Ian Begley's reporting here about Brunson stating that him, Julius Randle, and this entire roster is ready to make the necessary sacrifices in terms of roles, minutes, and shots so this Knicks team can get one step closer to winning a title? Let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knick fans. Peace.